Chicago with Caroline Huffine, and Caroline is a one of the surrogates from Illinois, and I'm going to ask Caroline some questions about surrogacy, and she's going to just respond and tell us how she feels and what she thinks. Caroline, let me ask you, have you ever been a surrogate before, and if so, how many times, and when was the last time?
No, I haven't been a surrogate before.
What made you decide that you'd like to become a surrogate for a couple who desperately want to conceive but cannot?
Well, since I have 3 children of my own, I know what it's like to be able to have a child and have a family. And so I would like to have a couple that does not have a child and be able to give them the family that, will complete their cycle.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are your values regarding surrogacy? Do you have any feelings about the surrogacy process?
A warm, loving, caring, kind of build a rapport, bond as we go.
Can you tell me a little bit about your family? Are you married and do you have children?
I am not married. I do have children. I have 3, a 19-and-a-half-year-old, almost a 17-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
Tell us a little bit about each of the children.
The oldest one her name is Caitlin, and she's 19 and a half. And then I have a boy named Caleb. He's almost 17. He's very tall. He's taller than I am. I'm like, go to your room. And then I have a 6-year-old. Well, he's about this tall already. And they're very well-mannered children. Mm-hmm. They're charmers. They're funny. They have a good sense of humor, and that is one trait that I pass on to them.
Very nice.
Yeah, right? So that is helpful and benefit.
Very nice. What's your husband? You said you're not married. Okay. Mm-hmm. So do you have any other partners, life partners presently?
No, I have full-time mom and full-time school and full-time work.
Okay. Tell us about the full-time school. What are you doing in terms of your pursuit in school?
My goal is to become an RN.
And what are you doing now, and how does that fit into that?
Well, I'm taking prerequisites, and I have like 800 prerequisites. So I figure by the time that I am like 83, 85, I should be an RN. Okay,
but your occupation now is what?
I'm a nurse. I'm a
nurse.
LPN.
And how does that lead into what you want to be?
It's the next step up.
Being a nurse?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone in your family have any reservations about you being a surrogate, or the legal relinquishment of the child after the birth?
No.
Okay.
My mom's very supportive of my brothers and my children. They don't want to share any more children, so to speak. Yeah.
Do you have a solid support system from your family?
I do.
And could you describe the people who are in that support system and how they support you?
That would be my mom and my brothers. My mom lives like a block away from me, and my brothers live like the opposite block from me. Mm-hmm. And then my daughter lives the opposite block. So then I have, my family and my children as well.
Can you describe the maternal feelings you experienced during pregnancy, and how do you plan to deal with those feelings as a surrogate should they arise?
Well, I would be definitely protective, of the child to make sure that the baby is healthy and, nothing happens to it as far as harm. It would be like almost one of my own. Of course, I don't, I have 3, so that's enough. 3 is the limit for me. So, make sure that the baby's healthy and provide a warm, loving environment.
Do you have any during your pregnancies? How have those pregnancies gone in terms of your physiology?
Very good. Very good.
No issues?
No issues.
Okay.
I enjoyed when, the first movement and the first sonogram, being able to capture that, so that I hope that maybe that the intended parents will be able to view that. They have discs now that you can actually view the sonograms and stuff. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
And you can share that.
Yeah.
That's nice. Have you ever experienced any complications during pregnancy, and if so, why don't you tell us about them?
No, other than my water would break. That's not really a complication now.
That's what happens, right?
Yes, yes, the water broke, yes. Yes, that's good. Only
explain what water breaking means for the Chinese. Oh. They may not know.
Well, when my water breaks, it would be, signed to get to the hospital because the baby is coming, and you only have so much time. So, yes, to carry. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. How do you take care of yourself when it comes to your health during your pregnancy?
Walk a lot, and eat right.
What's eating right mean?
Eating right,
For
fruits
you,
and
I'm talking about for you.
vegetables,
Yeah.
appropriate, not greasy food because that's artery blocking. Yeah. So
Can you describe a typical diet on a typical day when you were last pregnant? On a typical day, what would you have eaten?
well, with my youngest child, he's a strawberry eater now because it apparently carries over. I would crave pickles. So he actually eats pickles. It's funny because, you wouldn't think that a child would carry over, but he is a pickle lover because I would eat pickles and strawberries, I would crave things, so stuff like that. Yeah.
As a surrogate, will you strive to eat a healthy diet or reach out for support if you need to?
Yes.
Should you become overwhelmed with morning sickness or other reasons that may prevent you from getting the proper nutrition for the baby, did that happen during your pregnancies first?
With the first boy,
Yeah.
I think the boys are a little more stubborn. So yes, I would consult the doctor or what have you, most definitely, if that came about.
Should more than one embryo be implanted in you and all of them succeed, what are your feelings regarding fetal reduction or abortion if the couples wish to have no more than one child?
I would opt in, say yes. Fetal reduction.
Fetal reduction is okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so fetal reduction's okay.
Yes, it is okay. Yes.
Okay. And would you be willing to consider carrying twins?
I would be.
Are you willing to work with your surrogate agencies, the IV doctors, and the OB/GYN doctors to take all the necessary tests and screening to qualify and to travel out of state for operations if necessary?
If necessary.
What was that?
If necessary,
okay.
yes. Yes.
Yes, okay. Are you willing to work under the instruction of the surrogacy support staff to provide all the data and information that's necessary and requested of the client?
Yes.
What kind of expectations do you have for your relationship with the intended parents couple after the birth?
I would like to have a relationship if possible, maybe a card or, to see how well the family is going and how big the child is getting, just, to see how things are going. There's still, some type of attachment, most definitely.
This next part of the question kind of follows in what you've already said. Would you expect to see a Christmas card every year and a photo of the baby?
I would like, if it's possible, most definitely, because it's still kind of family, most definitely,
Do you have any desire to have future contact with the child as he or she grows into adulthood?
That's up to them. I mean, if all possible, most definitely, if it's possible. But it's still up to them. It's their family.
Another sensitive issue is abortion and adoption. Abortion generally is not allowed in the ULANE surrogacy assistant terms of services. We've consulted the intended parents clearly on this and asked them to sign the terms of services before ULAN took them into the program.
Okay.
But in case a couple divorced or either one of them or both of them should die during the pregnancy, would you consider accepting an abortion?
If need be.
This doesn't happen.
Right.
Okay.
I would hope not to have to, but if it had to happen, then yes.
Good, okay. If the above-mentioned tragic events occurred and you do not prefer an abortion, would you be interested in adopting the child through an arranged agreement?
Yes.
In case the newborn is found with defects, diseases, or disabilities to some degree, even though the intended parents are required to take the child after birth, it is our job to ask you about your choice for the possible adoption of the newborn. Can you share how you feel about this? How you feel about it?
Well,
The way you feel, yep.
I wouldn't want the parents to have a defective or deformed or,
That's good.
child. That's my belief. I have healthy, beautiful babies. So I would want them to have healthy, beautiful babies too.
You can change your mind on this at any time. So So your choice about the possible adoption of the newborn would be?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And that you can change your mind.
Right.
Would you be willing to travel to China for a possible embryo transfer cycle procedure?
If required, yes.
If this is arranged, both male and female IPs had blood tests conducted in a U.S. FDA lab. You may be asked to go to China because some of our IPs have their embryos stored in China and cannot have them transferred to the U.S.
Okay.
The China Yulin contracted hospitals agreed to accept non-Chinese surrogates for embryo transfer procedures in the event that the child is delivered outside of China. So that's the procedure. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
Okay. Are you comfortable providing breast milk to the newborn?
Yes, if need be, most definitely. I breastfed mine, so of course.
Good. Are you willing to work exclusively with Yulin for at least 12 months as a condition under this SAP program?
Yes.
Okay. In the event of a failed embryo transfer cycle, are you willing to start the next embryo cycle for the same intended parents or possibly new intended parents?
Yes.
Would you be willing to start the next cycle immediately, or would you prefer to start again within 1 to 2 months?
I would say immediately.
Immediately. Are you comfortable asking your doctor for OB-GYN results after each visit?
Yes.
Okay. And if so, would you be willing to fax or scan the OB-GYN results and email them to Yulin?
Yes.
This is the reimbursement program.
Okay.
Yulin and the surrogate agency provide for one reimbursement of surrogate expenses per month only for those expenses that have been submitted in the proper form in a timely fashion by the 30th day of the month. Thereafter, Yulin pays the surrogate for those submitted expenses within 30 days after the prior month's expenses are submitted. Do you feel comfortable with this payment of expenses program?
Yes.
Okay. And do you agree and conform with this expenses program?
Yes.
Okay. Coming to the end now.
Yes.
This is the end, yeah.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry. Compensation schedule. Your compensation will be paid once every 4 weeks as long as you are pregnant, beginning the first day of the 7th week after the date of the embryo transfer. The balance of compensation is paid 2 weeks after the delivery of the child, along with a signed gestational carrier closing agreement. Are you comfortable with that payment procedure?
Yes.
Okay. And do you agree with that compensation payable procedure?
Yes.
Okay. You understand that you're required to provide documents for missed work days, such as pay stubs for receiving compensated bed rest.
Yes.
Okay. The compensation for bed rest might not be made if no document showing the bed rest has been produced or occurred. You understand that?
Yes.
I mean, do you agree with that?
Yes.
So I don't mean, do you
Yes.
understand? Naturally understand it. Okay. Okay. Are you currently in a committed relationship?
No.
Okay.
To my children, does that count?
That's good. Yes, sure
Yes,
counts,
yes,
naturally.
Yes, definitely.
The back part of that question is, if not, please tell us what your preference is. What's your preference in a committed relationship, male or female? Oh, that's a new one.
What was it?
The preference, if not, please tell us what your preferences are in a committed relachup, male or female.
Oh, well,
Male,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Appropriate.
That's a new one for me. Yeah. We truly appreciate your time in making this video. We know the life you are going to give, in terms of conception, is of great value, and we really appreciate that. Before ending this video, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share with our intended parents?
I would hope that we would build a bond, and grow in the path together, to bring their family and complete their family.
Okay, thank you very much, Caroline. Thanks a lot. Yeah, thank you. Good.